Welcome to the video lectures on analog electronics. Myself, Dr. Shoumik Poddar, Assistant Professor, Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. The course code is AA303, contact is 3, credit is 3. Today I will discuss part 2 of module 4. Before going to detailed discussion of part 2 module 4, let us review the lesson plan of this module. The topics to be discussed are feedback amplifiers and oscillators, into which the subtopics are feedback concept, negative and positive feedback, voltage or current, and series or shunt feedback, Barkhausen criteria, RC oscillators, phase shift and Wien bridge oscillators, LC oscillator, Colpitts-Hartley and crystal oscillator. The instruction hour is 5 and the corresponding course outcome is CO3. That is, after studying this module, the student will be able to understand the effect of different feedback mechanisms in transistor amplifier circuits. The prerequisites for this module are fundamentals on Kirchhoff's voltage, current law, Thevenin's theorem, BJT fundamentals, and matrix. Now, in part 2, I have given the emphasis on advantages of negative feedback, example of voltage series feedback, example of voltage shunt feedback, example of current series feedback, numerical on negative feedback, and finally the concept of oscillator. So the part 2 is the completion of the negative feedback circuit and the starting of the positive feedback mechanism, that is oscillation. Now, first of all, I will discuss the advantages of negative feedback. Although negative feedback causes the decrement of voltage or current gain, but it has several advantages. The first advantage is reduction in frequency distortion. What is frequency distortion? Frequency distortion means that if the transistor amplifier has some frequency dependent element, then it produces some types of reactance depending on the frequency of the incoming signal, and due to the reactance, the response of the system may vary with respect to frequency. So this is known as the frequency distortion. Now, in negative feedback, we know the gain of the circuit is A by 1 plus A beta. Now, if we think that A beta is much greater than 1, if A beta is much greater than 1, then what will happen? Then we can neglect this 1, then A by A beta will be nearly equals to beta. Now, if we look into the expression, we can see that in this case, there is no such term of A. A means the amplifier circuit. So, as there is an absence of A, so it will not dependent on the frequency. That means the total system gain will be the inverse of the feedback ratio or the feedback factor. So that means it will be somehow independent of the frequency. Now there is a question. The question is that if beta is dependent on frequency or not. In that case, if beta will be dependent on the frequency, then also it will be some. Then there is a some sort of frequency distortion, but it will be much lesser than the original amplifiers. But if beta is a purely resistive value, then in that case, the response of the total system will be independent of the frequency. So beta, so A beta much greater than 1, it implies that the feedback circuit must be resistive circuit. So in that case, it will be completely independent of the frequency. Second one is that the reduction in noise and non-linear distortion. First, noise. As we have already discussed, the entire system response is A by 1 plus A beta. That means it is much lesser than the original amplifier gain. So suppose the noise is input at the amplifier, then due to this function, the noise output will be reduced by this factor, because due to the 1 plus A beta term. So therefore, if noise is impinged onto the signal, it will somehow be minimized due to the negative feedback mechanism. That's why the noise is reduced in negative feedback circuit. And nonlinear distortion. Nonlinear distortion means when the circuit, due to the amplifier's active device, they are basically square law device. So it will not produces the linear response. So in that case, that nonlinear response will again be filtered due to this 1 plus A beta term, and therefore the distortion will be lesser. Next one is the increment in bandwidth. It is very important. As we know that in RC coupled amplifier or any other common emitter based amplifier, we have find out this type of typical graph which represents the variation of gain with respect to frequency. And we have seen that after a particular value of frequency, the voltage get constant. That means the gain becomes constant, and it will maintain up to a certain value of upper level frequency. So this type of graph is known as the frequency response, and the range of the frequency over which the voltage gain becomes constant is known as the bandwidth. Now, in case of negative feedback, what happens? The gain is reduced. That's why I have seen this flat region's amplitudes is drastically lowered. But what happens? There is a factor gain bandwidth product. The gain bandwidth product is a very important parameter to design an amplifier. And as that gain, when the amplifier circuit is somehow changed, the gain bandwidth product must be constant for the entire operation. So when the gain bandwidth product is constant and gain is reduced by this negative feedback, the bandwidth must be increased to maintain the product gain bandwidth product constant. So therefore, what happens in this case? This is the bandwidth. This is the bandwidth, but when negative feedback occurs, the bandwidth will be increased because the gain is somehow decreased. Next advantage of the negative feedback is increment of gain stability. Actually, what happens in non-conventional amplifier, the gain does not become stable due to temperature effect, due to the transistor beta variations, etc., and due to this Q point variation, etc. But if we use the negative feedback, then automatically the gain stability will be enhanced. How? Gain stability that is measured by the factor of change in gain with respect to the unit gain. That means for amplifier without feedback, the gain stability is measured by the term dA by A. dA is the incremental change of, not incremental, dA is a change of gain divided by the gain. Whereas the dAF by AF stands for change in the gain with feedback divided by the gain with feedback. So if we take, we know, again we are going to, we know AF equals to A by 1 plus A beta. Now taking the derivative with respect to A and divided by A, we will get this type of relation, that is 1 by 1 plus A beta into mod dA by A. The mod is taken because originally the amplifier gain is negative, has a phase reversal 180 degree. So we just discard the phase relation and we will concentrate onto the magnitude part also. That's why it is taken to be the mod portion. And if A beta is much greater than 1, that means if we eliminate, if we think that the feedback circuit is purely resistive, in that case we can neglect this one value and the mod dF by AF becomes 1 by A beta into mod dA by A. So as A beta is much greater than 1, then this relation can be reorganized as mod dF by AF is much less than mod dA by A. That means whatever the gains in gain variation in the amplifier without feedback, it will be drastically reduced when we are using the negative feedback. So that means there is some increment of the gain stability. Next, we are going to elucidate the practical circuit of voltage series negative feedback. In the last module, we had demonstrated the basic block diagram of the voltage series feedback, the derivation of the voltage gain, the effect of the negative feedback on input as well as the output impedance. But now, what actually the voltage series negative feedback, we must observe the practical circuit. Now, this is a very well-known and very interesting practical example of the voltage series feedback. It is basically the op-amp non-inverting amplifier, because the signal is applied at the non-inverting terminal and the inverting terminal is grounded via this full potential divider network. Now in this case, we know that whenever we are applying this signal at the non-inverting terminal, due to the differential voltage within the op-amp is tends to 0 due to the high voltage, infinite voltage gain of op-amp. So what happens as the differential voltage becomes 0, that means this voltage minus of this voltage. So the VS present at this point, it will automatically induce at this point. It is our basic op-amp fundamental. But if we see according to negative feedback mechanism, Vs is the external signal applied at plus input, and this is the actual input for the op-amp. It is Vi, and the Vi negative is connected to the negative terminal where the feedback circuit is arranged. So therefore we can say Vs equals to Vi plus of feedback voltage Vf, because we see that V0 is producing a plus minus V0. So plus is connected to the negative. So therefore this is the negative feedback circuit. Again, I am telling that this is a practical circuit of the voltage series feedback. This circuit is nothing but the op-amp non-inverting amplifier, and in that case we have seen that whenever we are applying any external input with the plus terminal, it will also produce a plus positive same polarity of the output. So if it is a plus voltage, the output will also be a plus. So what happens? First, the external input is applied to the non-inverting terminal, and Vi is the differential input of the op-amp, whereas the V naught polarity is plus, so it will be uh, divided due to this potential divider to generate the feedback voltage whose polarity will be the plus. So this plus is connected to the negative of the differential voltage. So that means within this portion, it will develop a negative voltage series mechanism. So I have written Vi is equals to Vs minus of Vf, or we can say Vs equals to Vi plus of Vf, whatever it may be. So it follows the voltage series mechanism. Now, the feedback ratio is nothing but equals to R2 by R1 plus R2. Feedback ratio beta is equals to R2 by R1 plus R2. Now, if we place A by 1 plus A beta, then it will develop 1 plus R2 by R1. So this is the example of the non-inverting amplifier, a voltage series feedback. Next, we are going to elucidate the practical circuit of voltage shunt feedback. If you see the voltage shunt feedback, voltage shunt means output is voltage, input is current, because of shunt term. So it is I to V converter. This is a I to V converter, and we have seen that this is the circuit of the voltage shunt. It is nothing but the inverting amplifier. It is the inverting amplifier where I have reorganized the circuit as follows. This VI is producing a current due to this R1. This V1 is producing a current I1 due to this presence of R1. So I have inserted a current source IS, which is equals to V1 by R1. Why V1 by R1? Because this inverting terminal is grounded, and this point is taken to be the virtual ground, we know. So the effective current will be V1 minus 0 divided by R1. So automatically it becomes a V1 by R1 IS. Now this IS is connected to the negative terminal, from which there is a resistor R0 is connected to V0. So what happens? This IS will send two different currents at this node. One current is going inside the op-amp, another current is going outside the feedback path, and it will develop the output V0. So the IF is the feedback signal, and II is the input signal of the op-amp. So here we can say IS is equals to II plus IF. Now you know that this relation is nothing but the shunt voltage shunt. It is the current relation, so it is a shunt mechanism. Now we are going to elucidate the first voltage gain, not voltage gain, it will elucidate the gain without feedback. Without feedback, so A is equals to V0 by II. First, we are going to elucidate the gain of the circuit. A is equals to V0 by II. Why V0 by II? Because II is the actual input of the amplifier, that is the op-amp. So its output is V0, input is II. So therefore, A is equals to V0 by II. So as we know, op-amp has high input impedance, or for ideal op-amp, it will be somehow infinite input impedance. So therefore, A is nothing but equals to V naught by 0. So therefore, because the input current will be almost 0, so the A equals to infinity. Now beta, that is the feedback ratio. Feedback factor means feedback signal divided by the output signal. Now in this circuit, the feedback signal is current IF, output signal is voltage, that is V naught. So IF by V naught. Now we know normally that V naught will send a signal along this direction, not from the input but from the output. But here we have seen the feedback current direction is along from input to output. That's why we are giving the negative sign. Why negative sign? Because from our basic circuit we have seen the output will send a signal towards input due to the feedback. But in this case, we have seen the feedback current direction will be just opposite of the conventional one. That's why we are introducing some negative sign. So beta becomes minus IF by V naught. Now we are seeing that in the feedback path, there is only a presence of single resistance. So as also I by V is also a current, also a resistance, inverse of resistance. I by V is the inverse of resistance. So beta is equals to minus 1 by R naught. Beta is equals to 1 by R naught. So AF is equals to A by 1 plus A beta. Now putting the value of AF is equals to the V naught by IS natural, because it is the output and it is the actual input of the system. So V naught by IS is the AF. Now putting down the value of A by A and beta. First, as A is infinity, so we cannot put this infinity here, it will complicate it. So what I am doing, I have divided the numerator and the denominator by divided by A. So it becomes 1 by A plus beta. Now as A is infinity, so this 1 by A term will be 0. So it will become 1 by beta. Now we are seeing that when the entire gain of the system will be 1 by beta, that means the feedback circuit is purely resistive. That was also coincides with our previous thing. So this circuit, when the AB is much greater than 1, the out gain is 1 by beta, it will reduce the frequency distortion. So therefore, in the voltage shunt, this circuit will produce a much reduced frequency distortion, and the feedback circuit is the purely resistive one. Why resistive one? Because A beta is much greater than 1. Why A beta is much greater than 1? Because A is infinity. So the product will be much greater than 1. It will be also infinity. However, we are going to our main discussion. AF thus becomes 1 by beta. Now beta is minus 1 by R naught. So ultimately the gain of the entire system is minus R naught. But as we are dealing with the voltage circuit, so therefore AVF can be written as V naught by V1, because our main signal is V1 or Vs, whatever it may be. So V naught by Vs can be the voltage gain of the entire system. Now this V naught by Vs can be written as V naught by Is into Is by Vs is equals to V naught by Is means that is the V naught by Is. V naught by Is means minus R naught, and Is by Vs. What is Is by Vs? Is by Vs means Is equals to V1 by R1. So Is by Vs is 1 by R1. Therefore it becomes minus 1 by R1. And we all of know that in this type of inverting amplifier, it becomes a minus feedback resistance by the input resistance. So in the both way we can prove the voltage gain of the op-amp is like that. Next one is the example of the current series feedback. It is the uh, it utilizes a BJT fixed bias circuit where there is no bypass capacitor. Where there is no bypass capacitor, the capacitor is absent, due to which the signal, AC signal, will not bypass to the capacitor. It will develop a negative feedback voltage. I had discussed in our in bias stability as well as the amplifier circuit. So what happens when a current is flowing through the resistance? It will develop a plus minus feedback voltage which will oppose the in actual this plasma Vs. Therefore, the gain, the actual the input signal will be the difference between the Vs and Vf. So this is known as the series mechanism. Series means a voltage difference. So this feedback voltage will oppose the Vs of that means the input signal of the BJT will be the difference between Vs and Vf. However, the equivalent H parameter model will be looks like this. Vs RB means this. This is the HIE because this is the internal resistance. This is HFE, IB and RC. It is the H parameter model without the RE resistance. Please remember, keep in mind, this is the H parameter equivalent circuit of this CE amplifier when there is no feedback resistor, or we can say when there is a bypass capacitor also. But when we have removed this capacitor, there will be some sort of RE resistance, and in that case we have derived the expression without feedback. E is equals to gain is current by VI because it is a current series. So output will be the current. So I naught by VI equals to minus IB into HFE because I naught means this current, I naught is this current. So this current is HFE IB minus HFE IB, and then IB into HIE plus RE. So it becomes minus HFE by HIE into RE, and beta is equals to my VF by I naught. VF equals to minus I naught into RE. Why? Because this is the collector current and it is equals to emitter current also. So this current is flowing through this path and it will develop the feedback voltage. So therefore I naught into RE is VF. So therefore it is VF by I naught. So it becomes I naught RE into RE I naught by, thus it becomes minus RE. But when we are using with feedback, then it becomes AF equals to I naught by Vs, that is A by 1 plus beta A. Now just put down the value of A and beta, it becomes minus HFE, HIE plus HFE into RE. So in that case, we will see previously only RE is present, now HFE into RE is present. Therefore, the denominator becomes higher than the previous case of denominator because HFE is much greater than 1. Therefore, this product will be very much higher than the RE. And AVF is V naught by Vs, as it is a current series. So we must convert into the voltage case. So V naught equals to I naught into RC. If we see I naught into RC, it is produced of V naught. So we are just introducing V naught by Vs in case of AVF. So it becomes I naught RC by Vs. So I naught by Vs, just put down this value, multiply it with RC, it becomes minus HFE RC by HIE plus HFE into RE. So this is the example of the current series. Now I will discuss two new problems regarding the negative feedback. This is very interesting problem. The first problem denotes if an amplifier with gain minus 1000 and the feedback factor beta is 0.1 experiences a 20% change in gain due to temperature, calculate the percentage change in gain of the feedback amplifier. So when there is a change in gain of the amplifier, always we are using this formula, that is mod DAF by AF equals to 1 by A beta mod dA by A. Just put down the value. dA by A is 20% change, so it is 20 by 100, and 1 by A beta. A beta, A is equals to given minus 1000, so I have just put down the value minus 1000, and beta is minus 0.1, so I have written 0.1. After calculation of this entire term, that mod DAF by AF becomes 0.2%. So how fantastic one, that without feedback it was 20% change, but after feedback the gain change becomes 0.2%. So it implies gain change is very poor, that means the gain becomes stable. So this is the essence of the negative feedback. Next problem is calculate the voltage gain, input impedance, output impedance with feedback for the voltage series circuit having gain A is equals to minus 1000, Ri is 10 kilo ohm, R naught is 20 kilo ohm with feedback factor beta minus 0.5. As it is a voltage series, so first we keep in mind the A total gain. The gain of with feedback is A by 1 plus beta A. The input impedance will be increased, output impedance will be decreased. So first we will calculate the AF. A is minus 100 plus 1 plus beta. Beta is minus 0.5. A is minus 100. So ultimately it becomes minus 100 by 51. So it becomes minus 1.96. So it is very painstaking that without feedback it was, the gain was 100, but after feedback the gain becomes so much reduced, 1.96. Now input impedance ZIF is equals to ZI into 1 plus A beta. So ZI into 1 plus A beta. So after putting ZI is 10 kilo ohm, 1 plus beta A. Beta A is minus 0.5 into minus 100. So it becomes 50. So 50 plus 1, 51. It becomes 510 kilo ohm. In case of Z output impedance, so it is Z0F. Z0F equals to Z0 by 1 plus A beta. So you please keep in mind that during the voltage series, the output impedance will be reduced. So it becomes 20 into 10 to the power 3 by 51. So thus it becomes 392.16 ohm. So output impedance will be drastically reduced. Next, we are going to oscillator concept. Oscillator is just opposite to the negative feedback. Oscillator is the just opposite of the negative feedback amplifier. What happens? Suppose I have connected the circuit. This is the main amplifier with which I have connected the feedback circuit in the series connection. That means the positive is connected with the positive, negative is connected with negative. Just like, so the output of the feedback voltage, feedback circuit will be VF, its polarity will be just same with that of the V0. Now what happens, this feedback voltage is connected in such a way that this negative polarity of the feedback voltage will be connected to the negative polarity of the input signal of the amplifier, and the positive polarity of the VF, that is the feedback, is connected via switch to the positive polarity of the input signal. So what happens here? That means the VI and the VF are in the same phase, which was opposite in the negative feedback. The VI is the phase reversal of the VF, but here VI and VF are in the same phase. Now first off, I have taken a switch. Now here we will see that there is no VS, means no external signal. But I have, but now I have just introducing that when the switch is open, what happens? All if suppose if I am thinking that VF is produced, but there the VF will not enter into the amplifier, so no voltage will be, no signal will be produced. So for operation, the switch must be short or closed. Now I am thinking that I have closed the switch and I have applied a fictitious voltage at the input. Always remember there is no external signal, that is the Vs should be 0, but I have applied for the time being, that is a fictitious voltage Vs. So what happens? This fictitious voltage will be amplified by A. So V0 becomes A into Vi, which is somehow measurable voltage. This voltage will be fed back by this feedback circuit and it will develop VF equals to beta AVI. So this feedback voltage will again go to the circuit. Now if we have removed this external voltage Vs, then this VF is sufficient to trigger on the entire circuit and the circuit will continuously producing the output. If the fictitious voltage was sine wave, then the signal will be the sine wave, output will be the sine wave signal. If the fictitious voltage change will be just from the according to square wave from first level saturation level, then after some time the negative saturation level, then the output will also be the square wave signal. However, therefore, the feedback voltage is sufficient to trigger on the circuit, but there is some criteria which help to trigger continuously working the circuit by the help of feedback signal. The condition is that beta A is equals to 1. So when beta A equals to 1, that means Vi is equals to VF. So this is known as the Barkhusen criteria. That means when VF is equals to Vi, when VF equals to Vi, the circuit is producing sustained oscillation. It is called Barkhusen criteria. Practically, we are first setting the beta A is greater than 1. So any noise signal will produce some measurable output, and due to the beta A is 1, the signal will again continuously increasing. So that was not a stable sine wave, but due to the circuit saturation, the sine wave becomes saturated. It is one concept. Another concept is that we are not considering beta A is greater than 1, but in the expression AF is A by 1 plus A beta, if we have kept A beta is equals to minus 1, that means the gain of the loop will be 1 in magnitude, but there is a phase reversal between A and beta. Means when the A beta is 180 degree, means a phase change of the A beta, then 1 plus of minus 1 will be the expression of the AF, and the denominator thus becomes 0, which will produce the gain of the circuit will be infinity. Therefore, any noise signal which is always present in our electronic circuit will somehow produce the measurable output voltage, which will act as a feedback voltage because Vi is equals to Vf. So that measurable voltage continuously triggered on and it the circuit, and it will produce a sustained oscillation. So this is the oscillator concept. So either we can keep beta A equals to 1, either we can keep beta A greater than 1, or either we can produce a beta A equals to 1 but 180 degree phase shift. But practically what happens, we are keeping beta A is slightly greater than 1, so that it will just getting some energy to trigger on, then it will continuously producing a sustained oscillation. So this is the oscillator. That's all. Thank you for listening the lecture.